The NRL finals enter week 2. I'm Darcie McDonald, and with me is former Panther and Rabbitoh Josh Mansour to preview these elimination matches. Thanks so much for joining us, Josh.
Great to see you as always,
Great
Darcie.
to see you too.
Commiserations for your Bulldogs last week.
I know, I'm still in mourning.
Oh, no.
That's right.
Anyway, it's a new week.
A new week, plenty of action
Exactly.
this week. The Sharks had some good moments against the Storm, but they got overrun in the second half. How do they put that loss behind them, come back to Sydney and get the win to advance to week 3 of the finals?
Well, they just need to play 80 minutes of football. Their first half performance wasn't too bad. Obviously, they come up against the Melbourne Storm, which was obviously going to be a big challenge going down there. They did beat them early in the year, but unfortunately, the Melbourne Storm were prepared for an ambush this time round. So I think the biggest thing in the Cronulla Sharks game they need to get out of is their discipline. Like, they conceded too many errors last week, penalties as well, which didn't help their cause. And I'm sure all eyes will be on Nicho Hynes again this week.
Yeah, well, just like you said, everyone is talking about Nicho Hynes. He hasn't looked the same since returning from an ankle injury a few weeks back. What's your thoughts on the form of Nicho, and how can he get back to playing his usual high standard?
So obviously the mystery case about Nicho, he was a Daily M medalist a couple of years ago, and I think it's actually been detrimental for him. He's obviously set the bar so high, and the expectations from players, from fans, from journalists, and he hasn't been playing anywhere near his best footy. And I'm sure Nicho's the first one to admit that, but as well, there's the expectation, when you're the halfback, you have to own those big moments. And unfortunately this year, when they've been presented to Nicho, he hasn't been able to capitalise on that. So I'm sure he knows that, but to silence all these critics, Darcie, to silence us two here, he has to obviously own the moment this weekend against the Cowboys. And I'm sure his teammates will have to obviously help him in that cause.
In a must-win game too. Talk about pressure.
Must win.
On to the Cowboys, and after a commanding victory over the Bulldogs 2 weeks ago, they looked far more vulnerable in a close win against the Knights last Saturday night. What positives can coach Todd Payten take out of that performance though?
The defensive resilience, in my opinion, I think so. Convincing display against the Bulldogs, like you said, a couple of weeks ago, and they've got into the grind against the Newcastle Knights, which Adam O'Brien said during the week that he was going to do. And I think it was actually detrimental by him saying that, because Scotty Drinkwater did have a little cheeky drive in the post press conference, but I think the defence has always been my main worry for the Cowboys. They've shown a lot of promising signs the last couple of weeks. They look like they're solving edge shape together as a unit. They're coming in numbers as well. They're slowing down the play the ball through the middle. And I think Jason Taumalolo as well, been a bit critical of him in the early part of the season, but the back end of the season, he's obviously got that starting position and he's owned it and he deserves it.
Well, one player that stepped up in a couple of crucial moments was 5'8" and captain Tom Dearden.
Yes.
How important is the Queensland half in the Cowboys' chances?
He's their main playmaker.
Absolutely.
He's always going to be an important figure in that team. Obviously had a pretty good stint playing for the Queensland Maroons earlier this year as well. Scotty Drinkwater, he's been probably one of the most informed fullbacks in the competition, and it was a great matchup seeing him go toe-to-toe with Kalen Ponga last week, and he has to obviously replicate that. With finals football, you just got to flick the switch and you've got to keep raising the bar week in, week out. And obviously, you've got the Cowboys off the back of a pretty great win at home, but now they're going to have to travel down to Sydney, and how they're going to fare against the Cronulla Sharks, which are looking to bounce back.
Well, these teams have had some epic finals encounters the past few years. I can remember JT feeling robbed in 2013.
I remember that too, actually.
And who can forget the Val Holmes field goal against his old side in enemy territory 2 years ago? So who do you think gets the win in this one and advances through to the preliminary final to take on Penrith?
I got a feeling it's going to be a shootout, Das. Honestly, I think it's going to be. I think these two teams got a lot of points in them. Obviously, the Cowboys are one of the best attacking sides in the competition, and the Cronulla Sharks, to give them justice, they were actually a pretty good defensive side up until the back end of the season. But saying that, traditionally these two sides facing off has always been a high-scoring affair. I think it's going to be the same outcome. But I'm leaning towards the Cronulla Sharks in this one. I think, obviously, playing in Sydney is going to be beneficial for them. They're coming up against the Cowboys. Traditionally, they have leaked a lot of points, but I'm just still concerned about this game as well. So I'm going to tip the Cronulla Sharks to get the win here.
All right, thanks, Josh.
No worries.
If you want to see this match, hurry to nrl.com/tickets. If you can't get to the game, remember you can still watch it on Channel 9, Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kickoff is at 7:50 p.m.
Enjoy your footy.